Yo, 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 welcome to Coffee with the King. Good morning, everybody. We're going to do a check in. As you know, I'm going to play a song for you guys, and we're going to talk with my man Forge Project about just having the mindset and living your best life after marriage, how to get over discouragement and defeat and tweak your mindset to where you live a better life. So let me play this song. Y'all check in, and we'll do a roll call in like 3-4 minutes for y'all coming in. All right, let's get this intro going so we can start the show. Oh, ABC. Shout out to Alpha Villains. I got Moj. Would you take initiative to cut it off?
So righteous.
This is also true. And when it comes to the maintenance, he's out of sight.
Let me guess. You one of these brothers think you can get by and won't get a smile, huh? What about the smile?
I am smiling.
I was abducted. What's going on, guys?
Good morning.
Hey,
Good morning.
Justin, what's up, buddy?
nice to see you again, man.
Likewise, man. What's
Coffee.
up? King Feet.
What up? What up? Shout out to William. Shout out to Jonathan for the super chat. He said change in the chip jar. I appreciate it. I want some more super chats too. Y'all better pay up.
We got to unveil the new super chat intro. He got some crazy ones.
Shout out to Unique, Jonathan W. ESO. I wonder who disliked the video. It's probably that guy, Black Ninja. He's still mad at me and shit. I hope you come over here today, Black Ninja, so we can have a discussion. I hope you're still not mad at me. I hope you came back real alpha today. I hope you became alpha and you came back with your alpha energy.
Not that fake alpha energy.
So good morning. BM Forest Project, we did an excellent podcast Saturday, and he hasn't put it out yet, but it was an excellent vibe. I had a good time, and I felt it was only right because he knows me through AV. My man reached out to me, and he's seen me through the AV, so I thought it would be the right thing to do to bring us together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man.
For the first
time.
It
It was a good recording. I'm looking forward to putting it out once it's fully edited. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and just tell the people who you are and what you do, and then we'll just roll.
My name is Justin Adams. I'm a mindset coach, but I focus mostly on relationships. And I felt that after kind of talking to a lot of men out there, there's a lot of misalignments in the way they think, and of course, that affects how they behave in life. So I try to work with dudes and realigning how they feel about themselves, and then they can get out there and do better with their personal lives, whether if they're dating or they're single, doesn't matter. They're married, their sex life, their fitness, their business. It all just comes back down to your mindset and how you think about yourself. So I just kind of work with dudes to kind of break apart the narratives that they have in their own minds about who they are, and then dismantle that, and then help them rebuild through discovery and certain kinds of insightful questions to get them answering shit on their own.
Hey, you look like you want to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Nah, just good morning. Thank you for having me on, Fee. Justin, it's great to be back on with you, man. I did an excellent interview, one of my best, actually, with Justin as well. Make sure you guys check that out. And Justin and I had a good conversation in regards to what he said. I like what he said about misalignment. There's a lot of men out there are misaligned. The reflection in the mirror is distorted. And what Justin and I touched on briefly was that hive mentality. Because because people are so lost, they are willing to gravitate to anyone that makes some common sense to them. And it creates this hive of people who are thinking all alike. So what I like what Justin said is, he wants to kind of align men back to their axis, right? So they can be centered, and that way they can navigate outside, whether it's relationships or just in life in general, and think for themselves. So that's what I liked about Justin too, man. So I'm glad to have you on here as well.
Yeah, appreciate it. Man.
So Justin, let's get into some background. Like, what's your? I know a little bit, but just to tell the guys, like, what's your direction as far as relationship? Like, how did you start and how did you finish?
Well, I'd say that I was like, when I was younger, all through like college, my young adulthood, I would consider myself a natural, where I was good with women, but didn't realize that I was doing anything. So yeah, I guess I equated to a tiger who doesn't know he's a tiger, and he's just like, I just kill shit.
Right. Yeah.
But then I got I was also still operating within that narrative that most guys deal with, right? And I said, oh yeah, you got to get married and all that shit, and followed that paradigm. And then I found myself slowly slipping through the years of my marriage, and I became the drunk captain of my ship. And eventually I was just down below deck, metaphorically drinking and sleeping, and lost a lot of my confidence, lost my sense of self. And of course, my woman at the time, she got pissed off and resentful, and it was just a compounding effect that led to a lot of misery. And eventually I decided that I wanted to cut it off. And I filed for divorce. And because it was obvious that shit was just not repairable. It wasn't going anywhere. And that was all right. The divorce was fairly amicable. And then I found myself out from the paradigm of being married guy, right? And I was like, fuck, who the hell am I now, right? And I equate it to someone who's, say, been in the military for a lifetime, and then they retire from the military. And they've only identified themselves as a soldier. And then they get out into civilian life, and they're like, who the fuck am I? All I know how to do is this. All I've identified is this. Or somebody who spent a lifetime in prison, they get out, and they're like, who am I, right? So I went just on a huge path of self-discovery. Of course, I was all fucked up. I found myself with MGTOW, in Red Pill, and read a ton of books, talked to a lot of people, excuse me, talked to a lot of people, and just kind of brought me around to myself, because eventually I was like, well, shit, there's a whole bunch of just hurt, angry dudes in the MGTOW community, in the Red Pill community, and I started lifting out of my anger and out of my pain and realizing, fuck, I like women. I don't want to disassociate from women. I want women back in my life, but in a balanced way. And so I started having more conversations with people and started journaling a lot and experimenting a lot, right? Because it can't just be cerebral. You got to actually get out there and experience things. And that's the problem, which is a lot of people, I think, in the Red Pill and MGTOW communities, they're like armchair philosophers. And then never actually get out there and practice and experiment with some of the concepts that they're dealing with. But I did that. And now I find dealing with women to be extremely easy. And because it's just another thing, right? It's like presented with anything, it's just a woman. It's like, oh, here's a new bit of software you got to learn. It's like, okay, cool. It's not going to like ruin your life. It's not going to take over your life. You just learn how to do it and you do it, and it's no big deal. And so now everything's great. Like dating is fun. You know, I'm very honest with women. They don't get kind of like feeling like they're left in the dust or unsatisfied emotionally or physically. Everybody's cool, you know. And I have a very vibrant dating life now, and it's a lot of fun.
That sounds like success to me. What's going on, the beautiful Topaz? What's going on, James Brown, Blackjack? Man, that's inspiring, man, because a lot of people don't know how to bounce back. And it's funny that you say that, because when I first came to this community, I had a quote unquote MGTOW channel, because I thought that what MGTOW was, man, going your own way. What I thought that meant is guys who were against marriage or not favorable to marriage and relationships in general. And I thought that's what men going your way means. I didn't know it was like we don't like women and shit like that.
Right. Yeah, AV and I were laughing about that on a recording, how it's the message is go your own way, but then it turns into this collective hive, which is not going your own way. It's like, come with us to be going your own way, but we'll do it together as like a unified mind. It's very strange. Right. I assume, like, to me, going your own way means there is no tribe. You go off on your own fucking own way.
Right, right. Yeah, man, you said a lot to unpack. I just want to touch on a couple of things. First things first, I want to commend you for being strong enough and having the ability / discernment to realize that the marriage was done, and you took it upon yourself to initiate the divorce. A lot of men don't do that. A lot of men just stay there with the notion it's cheaper to keep her. A lot of men aren't brave enough to face that fact. So the fact that you initiated it, that's a very powerful thing. That says a lot about you. You also said, you know, like a tiger not knowing he's a tiger. You are a natural. You know, that's because you've always embraced your masculinity. A lot of times men would be surprised how natural they are if they really embrace their masculinity and they walk the talk and talk the walk, how responsive women would be to that. So that way it would appear that you're a natural. You know what I mean? So a lot of people overthink this masculine shit because they're too busy listening to this sector. They listen to this sector. They're watching too much TV. And And lastly, man, you said something very important, in regards to relationships, how you kind of lost yourself. I think it's very important for people to realize before they get into any type of committed relationship, they need to first be in a committed relationship with themselves. When you are in a committed relationship with yourself, you understand yourself and you have the ability to navigate and select a little bit better a person that might fit your criteria. And you kind of reduce the notion of kind of losing yourself during the
Bro,
relationship by holding on to the person that you are. You know what I'm saying? And then you that way you might have a more favorable relationship.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. It kind of touches on the old trope that you hear. I mean, we've been hearing it for decades about somebody completing me, right? That's like this age old, like Hallmark card trope. But it's in the mentality out there. And I don't know if the mentality creates the trope or the trope creates the mentality, but it's this idea that like I'm an incomplete being and I need somebody else to fill in those gaps.
Right.
And so you're coming at it from a place of lack at the get-go, right? So with this understanding, like I'm incomplete, I'm unfinished, and nothing's going to do that except another person.
Right.
And that's really fucked up, because then what that does is it creates a culture of undeveloped people coming together.
Right.
Thinking that they're going to create a lasting like union. And it doesn't work that way.
You're absolutely right. I think they kind of confuse the yin and the yang. The opposites attract. A yin is its own entity, and the yang is its own entity. But when it comes together, it brings one. But if you take one without the other, it's still a yin or still a yang. So, like you said, you complete me. When you're half and half, that is just a coping mechanism, if you will, to kind of just be lazy about continuing to find your other half for yourself. So I agree with you 1,000%, man. We have to. This is why content like this, the Forge Project, Afi, we always encourage men to think for themselves, so that way they can find themselves and be a whole person, a whole man, when they decide to be with another whole woman. You know what I mean? So,
well, that raises the question, because you hear it a lot, right? Think for yourself, but you know what that means. Afi knows what that means. I know what that means. But what does it mean to think for yourself, right? So like, Ivy, what do you think? And I feel like, what do you guys think? Just what that means? Because we toss it around because we get it, but someone like a layperson would be like, "Well, I do think for myself." You know what I mean? I eat the breakfast I want in the morning. I put on the clothes that I want in the morning. That's thinking for myself.
Sure.
You said, "What do I think?" What do I think about thinking for yourself? Is just not going by the narrative of what's put out there to you. Just being able to have the power of discernment and being able to take the meat off of the bones. People watch this content and they do stuff and they try to emulate things verbatim. And what they don't understand is you got to just take the knowledge and you got to put the twist on it. That's you. You're the twist. You know what I'm saying? You can't, Blackjack can't get on and listen to this and then start trying to talk like me and shit, because you can't do it better than me, because it's me, right? So the problem is you got to find out who you are, and then you get the principles that you learn through this stuff, and then you apply that. It's like, like someone who were to watch like AMS, so they watch AMS videos, boom, 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 and then they get the knowledge, but then now when they're dating, they're trying to be like this now. It's like, nah, bro, you can't be like that. Just take the information that he said and just apply it to you. You don't have to try to turn into it. And that's what happens too. Like a lot of people, they like, I don't know, I really study this shit. So even content creators who I watch, I study they following.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even just look at how many people are following them. I look at who these people are, what type of shit that they say. I'm very analytical, man, because it's like, I'm just about quality people, and I like talking to people on my frequency. You can't help, there's gonna be people coming in and out and stuff like that, but like I know that my information isn't for everybody, and my swag isn't for everybody. Either you're gonna like it or you're gonna love it. But what I do is I think for myself, and I moved beat to my own drum, and I try to teach that through my words, but also through my actions. You know what I'm saying? I don't teach abundance mindset. I show abundance mindset. Well, good morning, LDA. Good morning, Sir Spade.
Peace,
So that's
guys.
my
Yeah, that was excellent. Yeah, let me give my interpretation really quickly. I think you, Justin, you said it, man. We know what it means. We toss it around because it seems so simple, but a lot of people don't know what it means. And I think the simplest way to start thinking for yourself is through trial and error. You know, basically doing something that you may have heard. Basically, do something that you think that is that resonates with you, and try it. You know, and see what the results yield you. A lot of people don't know how to think for themselves because they're too busy listening to other people and listening to theory versus putting it into practice. That's number one. Number two, Afi said something very important: leading by example, being the change that you want to see. Words are fine, but if you're not leading by example, you know, committing to your job, committing to your programming, committing to what you do, trying to elevate what you do, that is allowing someone else to see what the power of words and action can do in regards to thinking for yourself and create and walking to the beat of your own drum. So I think the simplest way for people to start thinking for themselves is try things that you've heard and break them down. Create some goals daily. Look at yourself in the mirror. Accept who you are. Try to be that in real life. And if it doesn't work for you, tweak it as you go along.
Yeah. I think at the root of it, and Afi, I believe you'd agree with me that it starts with critical thinking, right? Because as a teacher, that's what you want to do for students, right? You want to give them the information, but you also want them to also question it, and not just sit there and go, okay, I'll do what you say. It's looking at it and then questioning it for yourself and say, it'd be critical, be like, well, is this real? Is this true? And then, as you're saying, maybe, is to go test it, right? Because you can't just sit here and you can't. I guess you can sit around and like logically make things make sense, but if you're not doing anything about it, you're not putting action to what you're thinking, then then you're wasting your time.
Right.
Like nothing's going to change if you don't use any kind of action. Right. And then you have to pay attention to the feelings that come up, because you're going to feel anxiety, be like, oh, well, I know all this shit about talking to women, yet I don't talk to women. And it's like, well, then listen to that feeling, right? It's like, oh, you feel that anxiety. Well, that's a flag going off in yourself, saying, dude, you need to take more action, right? Mm-hmm. And fuck up, make messy action. It's okay. Like, no one's gonna die, right?
Right. You said something very important: emotional triggers. Identifying your emotional triggers. Hey, if this gives you anxiety, perhaps you may not want to do it. If you want to overcome it, then confront it. Emotional triggers are very important. A lot of times you'll see, like, content creators, you can tell that they're still traumatized by their past things. They overly get emotional online. You see the followers and the trolls that get emotional as well. That is a sign of weakness. But when an emotional trigger is a sign of, when you identify an emotional trigger and you try to fix it, that's a sign of strength in my book, because we all have emotional triggers. But this is how you can tell how somebody moves, based on their knowing what sets them off and how they diffuse that situation. So you're absolutely right. That's very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, and that brings you just to self-awareness. Like, self-awareness isn't knowing everything, right? It's just being aware of yourself, right? And then recognizing your feelings, but putting them aside and say, okay, how am I going to solve this? Because that's what men do. That's what separates a man from just a male or a boy, right? Boys, they'll see a problem, they'll experience a problem. I mean, I have a son, so I see this, and he'll get emotional about it and not move past that and say, okay, how do I fix this? Right? Because he's still young. He's 8 years old. So he's in his emotions. So it's hard for him to separate from that and go, okay, what do I do? And that's what separates men, right? Men say, okay, what do I do? And then you map out a plan and you try it. Right. And that's it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you reevaluate and pivot. That's the only way to go about it.
Well said. BC says, Forge Project, will you please link your channel in the chat? I'm not sure which channel is yours in the YouTube search results. So
I don't have a YouTube channel. I can be found. My content is on Instagram. It's Coach Justin _, and then I've also got a podcast under the same name, The Forge Project.
The Forge Project on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys can check him out on Instagram as well. He doesn't have a YouTube channel yet, but he's doing the audio stuff on the podcast.
That's right.
You plan on doing YouTube?
Yeah, I think what I want to do is just kill two birds with one stone. So start a YouTube channel and then extract the audio from that and make it go right to the podcast.
Yeah, I think that definitely.
And just feed two platforms with one effort. Mm-hmm. Right. So see this problem, make it into a plan and then put it into action. Like it's just that simple, right?
You said something very critical that a lot of young people and older men for that matter lack a plan. They lack a plan and they overthink the plan as opposed to starting from scratch. Afi has told me many times, hey man, don't wait for the lighting, the beautiful studio, the beautiful mic. He went in and told me a story about how he started his YouTube channel on the phone in the car. I took that. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is start a plan, write it down. And if it doesn't work, the sooner you realize if a plan will work or not, you can move on to the next plan. Like Justin says, what men do, they are solution based. So they try to provide a solution. You don't live in your emotions. We all get emotional, but there is a point in time where you can feel emotion, but not let it dictate what you have to do. So starting a plan, it really is that simple, but you just have to write it down and try to execute it.
Right. And that's what I think is having emotional intelligence, right? You see that phrase emotional intelligence tossed around a lot, okay? And you hear it a lot with ladies too. They're like, I would love to have a man who's emotionally intelligent, right? Having intelligence about anything is knowing what, where, how, and why. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's knowing the information and then how to apply it properly. That's having intelligence, right? And that's with anything. You have intelligence with history, okay, or mathematics, or working on cars, or painting, whatever it is. It's having intelligence and then knowing how to apply it in the right way, in the right situations, right? That's emotional intelligence. But guys, younger guys especially, like with these generations, they're so up in their feelings. They think that being in touch with their feelings so deeply and living that way is being emotionally intelligent. And I think that's strategically unintelligent. Like, that's good. They have that awareness of their emotions, but to sit on it, it's not effectively using them, right? You can use them. They're signals, right? We're emotional beings for a reason. We can use them as like kind of feelers for situations, for people, and you listen to it and then say, okay, what is this telling me? How can I utilize this to my benefit? That's having intelligence with your emotions, right? It's not emotional feelings, it's emotional intelligence, right?
Let's go.
It boils down to everything. Like I'll even use YouTube as an example. Like I say before, everything that I do is strategically done, right? So I know in Lawrence, he gonna put a fire sign in, big bro, if you agree with what I'm saying. After I say it, you're gonna put a fire sign because I know you. It's gonna resonate. It's a hard. Well, you know what? And a part of it too. Let me do a disclaimer. A part of it too is like I'm 40. Like I'm a turn, so I'm a little older. So I can't do it. I can't do it how Mr. Man in Action does it, or how Steph does it. Who else is young? How FitX Fearless has done it. Cause like FitX Fearless, like he makes a lot of, dating content. How to close with women, the sex part, text game, stuff like that. Now that's fine, but see the point I'm trying to make is, see, I'm at a different point in my life. He's 22, so it's sometimes kind of hard to juggle YouTube as far as topics, especially when you go live every single day like I do. And the challenge is, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all the secret. The information that's important, y'all don't want to listen to. I know when I'm setting up a stream and it don't have women or pussy involved, I know I'm not going to get the views. Even though the mindset is the most important thing. You need mindset over game. Mm-hmm. But I can't work it the way I know I work it. I got to play the YouTube game. But it's a balance because, see, the thing is, it's like, so I teach mindset. I don't really teach dating. Dating is like the clickbait to get you to have a mindset to date correctly. You know what I'm saying? But I got to bring them here like that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, that's how the offer works, right? Then, because I work with a lot of coaches. I've got a couple of coaches of my own, and a lot of my friends are coaches and mentors. And when setting this up, you have to have what's known as an offer. And it's usually like an I help statement, right? So it's like, I help busy executives get more sex and better dating in a busy life, okay? But or it's I help busy executives get a 6-pack abs in 90 days, right? We see them all the time, right? Those are the offers. But any sort of achievement, like, so that's just the lure that you send out into the water. And then when you get them in as a client or a student or whatever, it becomes not about that. And they're like, oh man, like, how do I talk to women? And it really, you start dismantling the thinking, and it all comes down to how they think for themselves, how they think about themselves. And then once that is understood, then you can reapply what they're trying to get at. And then who knows, maybe once they come to the realization of who they are, they may not actually really be all that interested in women, right? They may not all that be, because at the onset, they didn't realize that a lot of their motivation is dealing out of insecurity, fear, pain management, coping, right? Not knowing who they are, insecurities, and trying to fill in those gaps within themselves. And then when you get them aligned with themselves and they're fulfilled and they understand who they are, then they go, oh shit, I was running after women because I needed validation, because I had a poor relationship with myself, right? The lion doesn't chase after every fucking zebra that crosses his path.
Right.
It chases after a zebra when it's hungry, and that's it, right? It'd be dead. It'd be dead of exhaustion, because, you know, zebras, they form packs. There's like fucking 100 zebra. It would be dead of exhaustion if it went after every zebra that crossed his path.
Right.
Yeah, you said something. You guys both said a lot of good stuff, man. Emotional intelligence, you know what I mean? I find that the youth, the younger guys, are being educated by other younger guys. And not to discredit any, any younger people that have any type of factual information, but I think there's a lot to be unsaid about wisdom. And I think wisdom comes from age, from trial and tribulations. I think wise people learn from other people's mistakes. I think the information that's being floated, and the majority that's being gravitated to, are intelligent, air quote, information based on what they've done or what they've done, but they're not taking any value from the mistakes that other people have made. And I think that's where wisdom comes in. I think that's where the OGs come in, such as the three of us in here, because I think it's very important for people to understand that you can learn a lot from somebody who's wise. And, I think when we were growing up, we were learning from our elders, right? Now our elders are trying to learn from the youth, and the youth don't know what the fuck they're doing for the most part. So a lot of people will discredit people who are married. A lot of people will discredit people who are not dating, who are older, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, the foundations were built on wisdom from us, from older people, from people who actually been through shit, because you can't be wise at 22. You can't be wise at 30 because you don't have enough experience yet. And again, I'm not discrediting young ones, but what I'm saying is platforms like this, Afi said something about his YouTube, the direction of his YouTube. He can't do what these other guys are doing because he's at a different point in his life. But those guys will eventually be at his level, at his age. So if you can take what we're saying, because we've been there, and get there and learn and soak it up in your early 20s, by the time you get to our age, you're going to be on another level. That's what they're ignoring. They got to keep that in mind.
I wanted to touch on the thing that after you were saying about, I don't know who you mentioned, but it was a younger guy teaching teaching young cats like how to talk to women, how to approach them, how to text them, and dating game. And while that is important information and skills to develop, I think what happens is a lot of people they'll say, okay, if I learn these things, then I'll get better with them. And you might be able to develop those skills to a certain level of success. But if it's not essentially changing who you are, it's what I say, it's like putting a hat on a pig. All right. You could dress up a pig to the nines. It's still going to be a pig. Right. So it's like, I ask guys, they're like, oh, like I've been asked before, like, can you help me with my text game? And I'm like, well, I could do that. And then you'll get the date. But what are you going to do during the date?
Then what?
Right? What? Oh, so now I got to tell you what to do during the date. Okay, great. Okay, what happens after the date? Am I going to tell you how to talk to her while you're walking to your place or to your car or whatever? And now I got to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Then I got to tell you, what if you start dating? Now you got to read a whole fucking other slew of books, right? What if you start seeing each other for a year? There's no fucking, like, you're gonna waste so much time on this external skill building, which I'm not completely detracting from. Okay, it is important to learn some of these things, but if you're ignoring yourself and thinking that you can get what you want just by the external stuff, you're gonna fall flat at some point, and she's gonna see that, right? That hat is gonna slide off at some point, and she's gonna go, "Who the fuck is this?" He's gonna do one thing that's gonna reveal him as a simp, and she's gonna be like, "What the fuck did I just do?" And she's gonna be angry at herself, right? It's gonna come out at you, but she's gonna really be angry at herself because she's gonna feel like a fool, like she just wasted months or weeks or years of her time with some dude who fooled her because he was fooling himself.
Woo! Let's go.
And then that's where the resentment comes in. And now you've got yet another woman out there who's jaded about dating and doesn't want to get into relationships and says, fuck it, I'm just going to get my bag and fuck y'all, right? And it just keeps that nasty cycle going, right? And it's like, you know, what our colleague says, Everett Overton, it begins and ends with the man. And it does, because you set that stage, right? So you're the one that prevents that shit from happening. It's not being the fucking white knight and be like, oh, baby, I'm not going to be like those guys. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Word.
Just like, oh, don't, I'm not a jerk. I'm a really nice guy. It's like, dude, that's just another hat you're wearing. And that shit's going to slide off your head, and she's going to see that you're weak, that you're insecure, that you have no self-identity, and she's going to feel duped. And she's going to go out there and, just get with her girlfriends and complain about men, just like the majority of them out there. It's like, you guys, you are the beginning. You're the beginning and the end. So it's up to you to change that shit, not by learning all this fucking external shit.
Right.
Yes, learn some of it, but really your main focus should be on you and your mindset, man.
That's facts, bro. Like, for people who are like new to my channel started off as Dominance Mindset Raw Game. That's why my Instagram partner pays homage to my very first subscribers and shit. See, this is my thing, and this is what I try to do. And I teach elementary, so I don't know how to turn the teaching shit off. I don't know how to like teach people invaluable information because I wake up and I teach anyway. And just as I'm doing now, I don't just do it in YouTube. I do it as a profession. So what I try to do is I try to teach men. I don't my coin phrase, expert level pussy chasing. I don't want to teach guys how to expert level pussy chase. Do I know how to do it? Yes. But the thing is, it's a lot of expert level pussy chasing that's being taught. I want to teach you how to fish. I don't want to teach you how to eat fish. So the metaphor is like me showing you how to eat fish is showing you how to have sex with women. I want to show you how to fish. That way, it's instead of being the man who knows how to get girls, I like it better to be a man that girls want to be with. That's what I want to show you. I don't want to show you tactics and strategies to win women over. I want to show you tactics and strategies to be the best version of yourself. And then you have so many options. These women are trying to win you over. You know what I'm saying? And that's my mindset of why I do this. And you just have to do it in the you pick different battles. Like I don't like it that I can go on YouTube and address the matters with Manosphere and talk my shit how I really know how to do. Like I can talk shit like that all the time, but I can talk my shit, get real passionate and roast cats and shit like that. And I can get 100 people in there listening and super chats. Oh, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when I do shit like that, you guys, more people, you guys are spending money. You guys are all in. And I mean, remember that video? I didn't even have no camera up. I didn't even have this. I didn't even have like an avatar. I have my camera face down, but it's like, damn, that's fucked up. Because I really meant what I said, but it's just the fact, like, damn, when I'm on my bullshit, talking shit, roasting cats, you guys, that's what you guys sign up for. 1,000 views in a few hours. Like, I shouldn't even get 1,000 views in a few hours from some shit like that. This is the important stuff, but that's not the shit that they care about. And it's conflicting as a content creator because it's like, damn, you know what they like, but it's like, you got to be true to yourself. Maybe if I was like 21, 22 coming into this shit, I can pretend to do something just for views, but I can't do it. I'm old now. Like I got to do what makes me happy. So I'll give y'all the dating shit and the dating, but I have to do it like this. If I do that shit every single day, how to get women, how to make them do this, how to get their soul, how to get Tinder, I'm going to be burned the fuck out because I don't even care about none of that shit. Yeah, I got to wake up at 7:30 in the morning to talk about it. You see, so I got to have a balance. Like this is some shit. This is a conversation that I want to have. Now, some people don't like it because it's like, oh, well, shit. You guys talking about this manhood shit. I got a date. I want to get some ass. Fuck all that shit. But the whole thing is when you get this mindset and you have these kind of conversations, then you're not even thinking about what to tell this girl because it's different, bro. When your mindset is up there to the ceiling, like on the top of my chimney, it's different. And you can't explain it until you're like there.
Absolutely. Yo, well said. Yo, you said something first. Let me correct you, my G. You say you old. You older. We just getting started. We fourth quarter, baby. This games are won in the fourth quarter, not in the first three. Let's not get it twisted. So the three of us, we on our way to win. That's number one. Number two, Afi said something I'll tie it into what Justin said. Afi says, as a content creator, let's do another example. As a man, you have to find that balance, right? To be true to yourself, but yet kind of give people what they want. So in a relationship, right? Justin said something extremely important. The woman usually, first of all, they're very egotistical and narcissistic. So when their egos are bruised because they feel that they were duped because you turned out to not be the guy that you were pretending to be, because you were focusing on the external strategies that are popping, you become black pill, then you become an aggressive MGTOW, that red pill rage. This is what we're talking about. The conversations that are necessary to build a foundation for men to be able to live the life of a high value man, to get the pussy. You'll start to see you guys are not building the foundation. You guys are focusing on the external stuff. It's kind of like a nice car that looks really good on the outside, but has a bad engine. So conversations like Justin, Afi, you really have to be more open-minded to listening to a person who is more concerned about the foundation, about who you are versus what you can be in that moment. Because post-nut clarity, all that frivolous shit doesn't really matter. We've all been through those phases. We've all been young, but where did it get us? I've had all the shit, bro. Right. The ripped body. I had to pawn watches. Yo, I did all that dumb shit, doing crazy Bobby Brown shit, but where are they now?
Crazy Brown shit.
Yeah, you already know. So my point is, guys, it's very important to Focus on the message, not necessarily the messenger. Young people want to be educated by other young people. They don't want to give wisdom and OGs the respect that we need, and hopefully we'll continue to bring that to the forefront.
Yeah. Well, that raises a question for me about, well, so we say like, all right, it's all about the mindset, right? And after you were saying like, well, you're not interested in that other stuff, right? And we can get together and talk about mindset because we realize that's at the root of anything you want to do, right? People's like, oh, I'm struggling in my business. I'm struggling with women. I'm struggling with my finances. I'm struggling with my fitness, my diet, my marriage. It all comes down to how you think. So we could get into external conversations and get into the nitty gritty, talking about a wife or something like that, what she's doing and what you're doing and how to do this and oh, you should do that. But it's kind of superfluous, right? It comes down to what your mindset is, okay? So the question is, how are you building that mindset? And I think it has a lot to do with a couple of things. One thing is getting away from judgment, okay? Because we are conditioned to pay a lot of attention to what's happening on the outside. So that triggers us to judge ourselves, like, oh, I'm not going to do that because that's going to be weird or whatever, okay? So it's trying to dissociate yourself from judgment, the whole mentality of judgment, and saying, fuck all that. I don't really care that much, right? And stop giving a fuck what other people think, or what you actually, stop giving a fuck of what you think other people think, because frankly, you don't know what they're thinking. You're projecting,
right?
Okay? So drop that whole narrative inside your head. So that's the first thing. And the other thing I think is really important is to explore creativity. Okay, whether it's making videos, whether it's making music, drawing, writing, anything that's creative, that will get you more in touch with what you think and what you want to express. Okay, so I'm going to make a little plug here, not for myself, but for someone who changed me drastically. Okay, well, something that changed me drastically, and from a couple of years ago, I was watching some of Steve the Dean Williams material. And he really started pushing writing, creative writing, and not just any old creative writing, but erotic writing. Okay. Now, this is a tip for like talking to women. Okay. But it's not about talking to women. It gets the root taken care of. All right. So I took it upon myself. I'm a creative person at heart. I started writing erotic literature, short stories. And what that did is it got me more in touch with what I want, what I think, and I allowed myself to get as freaky as possible. Let my imagination run wild. It was because it was just for me. And then I was able to take that, once I got comfortable with the language of that, and apply it to my conversations with women, my text messaging with women, my video messages to women, okay? Because I was developing the roots of how to communicate my sexual nature in a fun and creative way that explores the imagination. Now, you can't do that unless you first address the not giving a shit what you think people think, okay? Of course, you got to be calibrated and understand there's a time and a place. You can't just like hit some girl up, slide into her DMs and start throwing erotic literature at her or erotic messaging. That's not going to work. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm just saying is that as a general concept, getting that type of creative writing will change and develop your sense of self and how you want to communicate. And just as a tip for those who want to learn more about how to sexually communicate with women, writing definitely helps because it builds your vocabulary, gets you more comfortable with words and flow and thinking about stories and how you want the conversation to go.
I love what you said, man. I mean, this is definitely a great show. I'm glad to have you on. Listen, man, you said something very important for men. You know, in a nutshell, if you think it, you can do it.
Hold on, AV, real quick, because I got to go to the bathroom. Let me just say real quick, and then I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm gonna just go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. So we've been talking for an hour. I do shows every day. There ain't been one super chat the whole time. So y'all can't say I'm wrong. It shows. As you know, Alpha Villains, when we talk about different stuff, guys are in here doing it, right? Because the one that I got don't count because that's before the show even started. So that's what I'm saying. The important shit, it don't get no love.
Right.
And
Definitely.
the second thing is, shout out to Red Pill Thor. See, I'm a guy who always liked my OGs. And I met Red Pill Thor in real life too. So I'm gonna make a suggestion, just because I'm gonna be selfish. So I want you, Forest Project, to hit up Red Pill Thor in the DMs, and I want to hear a podcast from you two guys because he's an OG badass. You see his picture, but just follow him on the ground because I want to hear y'all chop up.
Yeah,
So
that'll be good.
Red Pill Thor on
Yeah, I like
Instagram.
that. I like that. Yeah, but I'll find you.
not one time at least. So it's like, so on one hand y'all be thinking, oh, I'll be just saying that shit. Well, okay, that's
Proof's in the pudding. Yep.
the proof's in the pudding. Not $10 fucking. But if I'm on here talking about some pussy and shit, y'all be 50, 100. It's a fucking shame, bro, because this is the shit that's important. Yeah,
Facts.
I mean, to be honest, it's disappointing to me because it's like I know what's the real shit. Just like when I had the chop up with Forest Project, I said, boom, yeah, man, I like this guy's vibe. I want us to all vibe together. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard your vibe, I felt our vibe, and then I wanted to bring the vibe together because I already knew it was going to produce this.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, and what you're saying is just a microcosm. What Afi was just saying is it's a microcosm of what we're talking about with. So there's guys out there who
Go ahead, I'll be right back, y'all.
Fantastic.
Go ahead.
There's guys out there who are fucking fantastic dating coaches. Okay. I mean, there's a good handful of them. I could probably hold like, 2 handfuls of like really, really good dating coaches. And people will follow what they say and then complain. They're like, oh, it's not working. You guys are bullshit. Okay. And they go back to like just some nonsense that they learned and some old school like mystery method crazy shit, peacocking or whatever the fuck he was doing back in the day, right? But here's the difference. The difference is that it works for those dating coaches because they have the mindset already taken care of, okay? That's why it works. They can literally, like they often you hear people say, well, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Right? They can literally start talking to a woman about anything, right? Because there's no fear of judgment. There's an understanding of where the self is coming from. There's an understanding of the self. And there's a complete acceptance of the self, not looking for that. So there's no fear at all. And that's why when they apply technique, okay, because there are techniques involved, the mindset is already established. So those techniques, they're going to work like that. They're absolutely going to work. And that's why people complain when shit doesn't work their way because they have this expectation and they're like, oh man, it didn't work for me. You're bullshit. They're not bullshit, right? You're just not them. You're not in the same mental space that they're in.
Right. You said, man, let me unpack that and tie in what you said before about the writing, the seductive writing. So basically what Justin is saying, man, you see a lot of these dating coaches, right? What they say is not what you say, it's how you say it. They say it with a lot of conviction, even though it may be bullshit, even though it's an external thing that they're focusing on, they're still saying that external thing with conviction and being very assertive. Why is that? Because their mindset is prepared to deliver that message. So when you have somebody who is not aligned, who is weak-minded, looking for some type of guidance, if you say something assertively and confidently, I'm going to gravitate to it because that is going to compensate for my lack of centeredness. Now, Justin said earlier in regards to writing, right? He got creative. He decided to write. When you see something, you can do it. That got him in tune with what he likes, his emotional triggers. It got him in tune with what he can do to convey it to a woman naturally, innately, because he not only embraced his masculinity, he also embraced his creativity and saw where it took him. So the bottom line is this: a lot of these dating coaches are giving information to men who are not equipped mentally to carry out that mission. And as a result, when they fail, like a kamikaze suicide mission, they become blackpilled. They become incels. Then they start to talk shit about the PUA community, as opposed to having the ability to discern and take whatever information that they got and use it and customize it for themselves to make it their own. So that way, if it does fail, the accountability falls back on the man as opposed to the course that you bought. So this is what is extremely important, what Justin is saying. This is what Afi is saying. Afi is making a note to everybody. We have not received one super chat. It is not about the super chats. It is a clear indicator of what everyone is willing to invest in. They would rather pay for a lie than hear the truth for free.
Yep,
okay,
that's it.
And that's what it is, man. And it's unfortunate, but I truly believe with the synergy that we're creating, the alliances that we're creating, we will preserve masculinity and we will get this message out, because I'm not stopping. I feel very passionate about it. Justin's not stopping. Afi's just getting started. So we will get this message out there, because you young guys will become our age soon, and hopefully you'll be as equipped as we are mentally.
Yeah, hopefully more equipped.
Real quick, Nelly. Yep, not one time. Did you see that? That's what Jonathan did, but that's before the show started. That was just love. And Unique don't count. You know why Unique don't count? Because Unique's an older guy. So I expect
he understands value.
So he understands the value. So
Unique.
I appreciate the super chat, but that one don't count. Well, it counts as far as the appreciation, but it don't count as far as the narrative that I'm saying, because I know you get it. You know what I'm saying? Because older guys know it. See, it's like it just shows what information you guys appreciate the most.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it shows what information that appreciate, and shout out to you, Forge, because you said something about 5 minutes ago that I never really thought about, bro, ever. And now, see, it's funny because this is the point of being a self-teacher. He said one thing, one sentence casually, and that, I don't know, like my mind set off. And through this one thing that he said, I've produced 20 videos just right now. And that one thing is, he said that the reason why the PUAs and the dating coaches can just tell you this is because they have the mind. Like, I never really thought of it that way. Because I look at it from my experience, but I never thought of it like, the PUAs and shit, how to do this in the club and all of this. I never really made that connection, bro, that it's because they have the mindset first. So now that just taught me so many lessons, and so many lessons I can teach just from your perspective, that one sentence, because I never thought of it that way.
Well, and that's what it's all about. Like, talking to people, coaching and shit like that, and mentoring. It's about just having something that, or finding that key that unlocks a new way of looking at things. And that's what it's all about. It's not about pushing an agenda. It's not about pushing, because it's about unlocking something so somebody can see their own agenda, right? And go, oh, fuck, right? Like, I would be happier with a single light bulb moment for somebody than teaching them how to get 100 blowjobs in a month.
PUA is pickup artists, bro.
Yeah.
Look, my guys get offended. He said, we don't do PUA over here. Yeah, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Anybody who teaches or talks about women, they put us all in the same, like, I ain't no PUA, bro. Like, I'm far from that. But guys I've had guys make videos about me through association, because like my friend, shout out to Addy A Game, he's a pickup artist and he lives in London. And he had a legal situation, and I had guys making videos about me. Cause the pickup artist so-and-so, IP King, nigga, I ain't know, like the Big Tile Dictionary. Yeah, PUAs are scams. Yeah, but I'm not a fucking PUA, but you put my damn picture on a thumbnail and shit. Right? I'm not even, you're such
hey man, even bad press is good press.
Yeah, but just feel like
say that in Hollywood anyways. But the question is, see, for anybody who wants to, because you've done it, like, fuck, I did it, all right? Because I'm able to be honest, because I don't give a fuck. Why are you even looking to PUA content? Why are you even, see, this is what I'm talking about. It comes down to critical thinking, right? Why are you even going to POA content? Why are you even going to red pill content or MGTOW content, right? Why are you going to dating content? I'm not saying anything's bad. I'm not casting judgment on the content. It's casting a light on why you're doing it. What is your motivation? Okay, and just simply saying, oh, it's just so I could get laid because I'm 25. I'm a 25-year-old virgin. That you're not looking deep enough. Keep asking why. Why do you feel this way? Why do you think that's your answer? What do you think getting that answer is going to do for you? Is that really going to solve your problem? But you got to keep critically thinking about your situation and looking at your choices, because your choices are dictated upon your beliefs, right?
Yo, you said Justin.
RSB for that super chat. Shameless plug. Hit one. You know what ain't a show if RSB don't come through and shameless plug.
Word. Congrats, my G.
You can do that shit. The gaming channel who came earlier. I should have cooked your ass, but I didn't even see because it didn't show up on the stream. I seen you were trying to promote your shit. You get your shit blocked for that. Don't do that unless you ask me first.
Yo, Justin said something. He said he would feel more satisfaction by helping somebody have a aha light bulb moment than getting 200 blowjobs in a month. Then he said, ask the why. Why do you look at these content creators? Because there is an ineptness, there is a dearth in you, and you need to figure out why. I equate that to some people being scared of success. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are scared of success because of what comes with success: more work, more responsibility, the opportunity to fail. Sometimes it's easy to just be mediocre, bro. Sometimes it's just easy not to care. Lock yourself up in a room and just be on YouTube and shit and troll people. But
if somebody wants to live that way and they're authentically like, you know what, I just want to be a regular guy. If that's your truth, do it.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I don't judge anyone the way they decide to live, but I do want people to know that if you are living a certain way, make sure that it is a choice, a conscious choice that you made yourself. So bottom line is this, you have to make sure that you have to ask yourself why. Don't be afraid to ask the right questions, and don't be afraid to confront the answers that you already know. A lot of times in this community, you hear the same people asking the same questions. Kevin Samuels, for instance, a lot of women are asking Kevin Samuels, what do you think of me, to looking for a different answer, but they know the answer. The answer lies in their unsuccessful dating life. The devil is in the details, but nobody wants to focus on that. So at the end of the day, confront yourself, find out why, and you'll have a better result living a life that you want to live.
Yeah.
Hey, V, let me piggyback because I want to make a good stuff too, because you said the Bobby Brown shit. That was real funny to me. That taught me a whole lot about you just in that one statement. And I'm not even talking about the fucking drug part. See, I got to clarify that because niggas.
I know that.
That's not what I mean. It's a lifestyle. That's what he means. Yeah. So the reason, let me tell y'all a secret, because I never even said this before ever. I want super chat. I'm telling y'all, I'm having a resurrection right now. The reason why I don't teach guys how to chase booty is because I chase booty. And what happens is, when I was in my teenage years and my early 20 years, I didn't have YouTube to look up to give me game and shit like that. And I have online mentors. Like, y'all got online mentors and y'all still fucking up. How y'all still fucking up? Like, I had to make all these fuck ups. So the reason why I don't teach it is because, and Alpha Villains, you know too. I know you know this without me even saying it, because we brothers, we connect. Now watch this. The reason why I don't teach that is because once you start doing that, later on, you playing catch up in life. I got a lot of pussy, but I'm playing catch up in life, bro. I could have had, if I wasn't chasing no ass for 10 years, 15 years, I would have already been my peak self. Mm-hmm. So I can't get my time back, but what I can do is save you cats some time. Mm.
Yeah, and that puts a marker on a very important point of what determines a man from men. Another thing that determines man from men, and that is a conscious awareness of your time. All right? See, regular guys, they will, they will devote their time to things that draw them out. All right. So they will get attention from someone or somewhere. And I'm not saying your job, okay? Your job, you have applied for that and you're saying, here, take my time in exchange for money. Fine. What I'm talking about is your buddies getting together and say, hey, come on, we're going to go to the Super Bowl party, right? Or your boys saying, hey, come on, let's go to this party. Let's go to this bar. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And constantly drawing your time out from you. Regular guys will just go to that because it accesses the pleasure center of the mind and your ego. And then maybe there's girls there. And that just comes into a whole other shit that I'm not even going to get into because deviates from the point. The point is a man will understand that he has two things every day that are finite, the time and energy. All right? You can't do everything in a day. So you have to figure out where I'm going to spend my time and how I'm going to utilize my energy to what suits my needs. Now that begs the question, well, what are your needs? What are your goals for that day? Mm-hmm. And what are you choosing to do? Is that furthering your overarching goal, right? So, see in TV shows, there's a bigger arc, there's a big story arc, and then within the story arc, there's smaller story arcs. Right. So are your smaller story arcs feeding your larger story arc? And is going to that party, utilizing your time, utilizing your energy, possibly your money, right? Are you going to be drinking there like, I can't fucking drink anymore. Like, fuck, I have 2 beers and the next morning I feel like shit, right? I'm like a fairly fit guy, right? So it's like, how are you going to utilize your time and your energy and your other assets, possibly money or your sexuality, right? It's like, oh, great. So you got to this party and this girl gave you a blowjob in the bathroom. How is that suiting your goals? Right. Is that helping you or stagnating you or pulling you back?
Facts. I want to read out these super chats real quick. Shout out to OSO, excuse me. He says some people want a home cooked meal from the microwave. That's 100% facts, bro. And my man Jonathan W says facts. It's a zero-sum game at the end of the day. I want to know what you think about what I said, Alpha Villains. And let me read this one last comment. It says, what's going on, Khalil? This speaks to me. Had a divorce happen, I wanted to take myself out 1 year and a half. See what I'm saying? And now I'm doing better. Shout out to you. So what you got to say about what I say about
Yes. Yes.
That good for you, Khalil. Good for you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Khalil.
What's up, Lottery Guru?
Salute, Lottery. So I want to touch on Afi and Justin's real quick. So what Afi said was spot on, man. Again, 47. I've mentioned this before. You know what I mean? Being innate, being good with women sounded great and was great at the time. But because I was so good, it stagnated a lot of my progress. Now, I've been successful. Again, I'm in the mortgage business. I'm in the sales. The crash hit me. So I've had ups and downs. But what I'm saying is what Afi said was very important. You know what I mean? He chased booty, I chased booty, etc. But where we are now, we could have been a lot further if we had this mindset or this information that we are trying to convey to you young people. You got to understand something. Everybody talks about their L's, but their L's, you have to compare what their L's are in regards to if a girl flaked on them or real stories like a Justin story, my story, Afi's stories. Those L's are more impactful because there are more consequences with it. The older you get, the choices that you make have more of an impact. So you have to be a critical thinker and make sure that you decide to do what is right for you in that moment. And what Justin said, which is very important, he says time. You cannot waste time. And I think maximizing your time by being disciplined and structuring your day out day to day, like Justin said, the smaller arcs that can combine into a bigger arc of your life. Bottom line is this. Wisdom is very important. Wisdom can only be attained through experience, years on this planet, and actual losses that really could have been life-changing. Because quite frankly, I truly believe some of the things that we've been through, a lot of these young people couldn't survive. Mm-hmm. Let's just keep it real. They drown in a cup of water. Some of the things that I've been through, man, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like a big deal. When I talk about it, I'm like, oh shit. At the end of the day, man, it's very important to be open to listening to people who have lived life and who have lost more in comparison to what you guys think you've lost.
Facts.
Yeah.
Unique says, women do take up a lot of your time if you allow it. Everything in your life must be done with moderation. Rick Trek says, first time here on the streaming. Welcome, bro. Don't
Rick
say
Tech.
no shit. I'm going to block you if you do. If you say anything I don't like, I'm going to block your ass. Welcome.
I like that logo, though.
He has a cool logo. John Bill says, being near, it's a question, as a matter of fact. Being near a quarter life as a man, what should you start to establish as a sort of a bridge to align your mentality to your positive goals for your own immorality? Are you trying to get saucy in the chat, you big poet? So
Yeah.
what do you say about
Well,
that?
I'm gonna answer his question in a broader sense, okay? Because my strategies for my life are not going to be the same as your life, but I'm gonna spit some game that is these are actionable things that I do that you can easily apply. You can modify it yourself, okay? Real simple. There's 5 habits that you can do that are really easy, okay? Get yourself a notebook, all right, and divide it. So a first portion of it, that's gonna be your brag book. All right. So each day you can write down 5 things that you feel great about. And it could be anything that you've achieved, small or large. And it could be something stupid like let's say you have no life, but you're like a fucking beast on Call of Duty, right? You can just be like, I'm a fucking beast on Call of Duty. It doesn't have to be like, oh man, I just sold like 5 properties last month. It doesn't have to be something that big. But brag book, all right? The next section is a gratitude journal. Have a journal that you extend your gratitude to things. And it could be very simple things like, I have gratitude that I've got a great cat in my life, right? You could say, I have gratitude, or I'm thankful that my parents are still alive, all right? I'm thankful that I'm able to talk with people who share similar mindsets. You can have gratitude towards anything, but just write down a few things in that each day, right? The next thing is visualization. You cannot create a plan for something you can't see, right? So you need to take a look at that arc, right? That major story arc. And what does that look like? That requires having some quiet time, sitting back and thinking, what is it that I see for myself? What is it that I want for myself? Once you do that, you can then figure out the mini arcs that can create that larger arc, all right? The fourth thing, all right, is 5 action steps, all right? So that's where the smaller arcs are. So each day, you write down 5 action steps that are going to take you to that larger arc. And the last thing, and this is where like a lot of fun comes into play, is a mastermind group. Right now, that sounds like very like Tony Robbins or whatever, but really it's just finding 5 people. It doesn't have to be 5, but a few people. I'd say like 4 or more that share a similar mindset that you meet with on Zoom, like once a month. Okay, you meet with on Zoom, or you have. I mean, it's good to have a video back and forth, but you could do a Discord, you could do a Slack channel, whatever you want to do. But have a group of people that are like-minded, that have goals, that think like you do, and meet with them once a month to share your ideas, to collaborate, to express your doubts, to express your insecurities, and have this support network that you can trust, that people like have your back and you have theirs, and it's like a steel sharpening steel sort of thing. And you can network and say like you've got this problem, and they might know somebody that can help you, right? So it's a brag book, a gratitude journal, visualization, 5 action steps each day, and a mastermind group. And I start each of my day with 5 minutes in the brag book, 20 minutes meditation, 2 minutes visualizing, review my 5 action steps that I made the night before, okay, and then going to the gym for 20 to 60 minutes, depending on my day. And then in the evening, the 5 action steps for tomorrow, visualize for 2 minutes, and then read for 20 minutes, okay? And I'll add in one more thing. Going on, Clubhouse, right? I've substituted Netflix for Clubhouse. there are so many fucking good conversations. You would not believe the type of networking that can happen, and getting people to learn from and grow with is amazing. And the entertainment is incredibly educational. It's way better than just turning off your brain and absorbing Netflix for a couple of hours. Like, go on Clubhouse.
You said something really quickly, and I know Afi can attest to this, and I'll let it, because he about to spit a bar. I know he is, but let me just say this.
One thing, because I'm just shaking my head. Like, it ain't even that you guys aren't super chatting. It's, do you realize the value of information he just gave y'all? Like, he didn't just read that in the book. He didn't drop you game. He drops you wisdom. Not only top of the wisdom, he gave you a whole action plan. Y'all don't got nothing to say about that?
Yo, listen, facts. That's what I was gonna say. Listen, and I know you can relate to this, being an author of 6 books. Justin gave you guys an action plan. Basically, Justin is telling you how to be the author of your life story.
Yeah.
He talked about small arcs. Let's pretend that the small arcs are the chapter in the book. The big arc is the entire book, the story. The 5 brag books are the details of the story. He also said about the meditation, writing the story, bringing it all together, being thankful. A lot of people want blessings. A lot of people want more food, but they still have food on their plate. You are not prepared for more until you finish what you have. In order to get more, you have to be thankful for what you have. So the story is always better when you're the author of it. A lot of guys want to live vicariously through other people based on the bells and whistles and based on the shit that they show you. But that's their story. You have to create your own story, and you'd be surprised how you can determine the ending of that story if you put detail into your own life.
Mm-hmm. And it really helps getting together with other people that think like you do, that have goals that are positively driven, and they're not just like, oh, I'm gonna get that bag. Like, people who have that mentality, I'm gonna just get that bag, they don't get it. That's like saying, like, oh, I'm gonna go get that pussy. They don't get it. Like, go watch your cool videos. Not for me. See you, dude. Like,
hey, yeah.
And
you know what's crazy?
Paradigm shifts that bring me closer to my goals faster.
And I commend Afi for doing this, getting us all together. Again, Afi's very strategic, man. And, you know, I'm glad that you came on, because this synergy is crazy. This is what I'm talking about. This is the language that I'm talking about. And again, we agree on a lot of things, and there will be times where we don't necessarily agree, but there is a lot of wisdom and different perspectives from the 3 of us on here that can be timeless for people. There's people out there that think like you guys, but the thing is, we are undershadowed or overshadowed by the bullshit. This is the truth. You guys got to subscribe to the truth. My channel, Afi's channel, hopefully on the Forge Project on Spotify, Apple. This is the truth, and the truth will stand the test of time. It may not be a fad, but in order to stay relevant, if you want to stay relevant, just embrace the truth, man, and you'll always be relevant no matter the time.
Real talk. Shout out to Joe Glass. It's good to see you.
Peace, Joe.
Rick, see, I told you, this is the real channel you need to listen to. You need to stop listening to this bullshit. It's your first time coming. And
salute,
I'm
Rick.
you're here. You know what I'm saying? Raymond says, I feel fortunate to have all this info. You guys are totally right. I know we right.
Salute, my G.
Getting around like-minded people and is powerful. Facts. I used to think it was just a strange, weird, oddball person, but I never had a space like this before to have these exact conversations. These are the conversations that need to be had, bro.
Yes. And I want you to say something. You know, we're talking about be around people, mindset groups that think like you. We just coincidentally think similar because we understand what it takes to be a man and the power of thinking for yourself. This isn't a hive. We're not a new cult coming. We encourage men to think for yourselves, but we teach you how to think for yourself. We can ask one question and we'll have a different answer, but what it means to us will be different. Why? Because we each individually think for ourselves. So that's the difference. Pay attention. You're going to see cliques of everybody thinking like the same. They don't encourage you to think for yourself because, again, there's more money in the disease, which is the pill, versus the cure, and the truth is the cure always.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And like, it's funny, like saying like test of time. What popped into my head, and this is one of my favorite quotes from a movie, is the if you ever seen Conan the Barbarian, right? And they're sitting in that cave, and they're all like warrior slaves, right, or something like that. And the guy says, he's asking all these people like, "What is best in life?" Right? And they start saying what's best in life, and the one guy's like, to be on a horse with like wind in your hair and like the world at your fingertips, something like very poetic and beautiful, And Conan, you look at him, and he's just fucking like he's
stoic,
right, and he's just there. He doesn't give a fuck what's going on. He's just on who he is, and he knows, and this is what's up. And he says, Conan, what's best in life? And what does he say? He says, to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women. Mm-hmm. That comes from a solid understanding of who he is in this world. He knows his place, and he knows what he's going to do. Now, I'm not going to like agree with those sort of things, all right? I don't want to hear women crying because I've destroyed all their husbands. But I understand the mentality behind it. That's what's important. I understand I can connect with what drives that, what creates that mentality, because I too understand about creating my own mentality of what I want, right?
Right.
What I think is best in life, right?
Right.
The other guy talking about wind in your hair and the sun in your face and swords glistening, like he doesn't get it. He's focused on the external shit, right?
Right. Yes, you said it best, man. Conan doesn't care. We don't necessarily condone with that message, but the point he's trying to make, Justin's trying to make with that quote, is that Conan knows what's best in life for him because he knows who he is. What is best in life is what's necessary for him in the world that he created because he knows himself. The other guys focus on the external shit. Let's not get it twisted. I like nice shit. I like nice women. I like views. I like boats. I like nice cars. Mm-hmm. I understand that. But not to say that I don't have that and participate in shit like that, but there's an order of operation. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is if I would have been more centered, more guidance, I would have had this information earlier, I would have been able to keep some of the external shit that I had from before. You know what I'm saying? I got more stories than tangible shit I could show you guys based on the fact. So now that I'm in a position slowly but surely being able to get all that fancy shit, I don't need it because I had that don't give a fuck attitude. And I understand that what is important and I can have it if I want to, but the discipline in me knows that I don't need it to feel centered and do my thing.
And discipline is the key. Discipline's the key factor there because like I tell this to my clients that discipline is freedom. That's how you gain freedom is by discipline, right? You want money, you have to be disciplined with money.
Facts. To
get money, right? You want a nice looking body, you want to look good naked, you have to be disciplined about it.
Facts.
Right? You can't fucking eat everything under the sun if that's what you want, right? You want to be good with talking to people, you have to be disciplined in listening and learning how to speak, right? It's discipline is where your freedom lies, right?
Facts.
Discipline in figuring out how to, what you're saying, how to think for yourself, being disciplined against questioning what is given to you and saying, does that work for me? Do I believe in that? Or what?
Yeah, you said, yeah, you know, that one of my favorite lines in that movie, Heat, when Pacino was sitting across from De Niro, he's like, "Oh, so you're willing to walk away from this woman?" And De Niro says, "That's the discipline. That's the discipline." A lot of guys don't have the discipline. They rather watch someone else's accomplishments on how they achieve that body instead of working out themselves. They rather pay for information that is free by just not doing it and be lazy and Amazon it and buy something that someone else is wearing as opposed to buying it and see if it works for them. That's what we're saying, guys. Men need to be disciplined and disciplined with a purpose. Don't deprive yourself of life's luxuries, but know that if there is a moment where you are disciplined, you will be able to enjoy that luxury that much more.
Right. And they become more selective. Right. Because again, see, it's like all these things tie together. Right? Because if you're disciplined and you understand that your two finite resources, time and energy, okay, and sometimes finances, depending on the situation, you're very choosy about how you spend that, where your discipline takes you, and how you decide, oh, okay, you know what? I do want a new watch, right? Because I want the fucking watch. I don't give a fuck. I'll wear a Mickey Mouse watch. I don't give a shit about Rolex, but I'm not shitting on people that do, right? But get that Rolex because you appreciate the design quality, because you appreciate the company and how they run, and the design speaks to you, right? The aesthetic. I don't care for that. I'm into other shit, right? I just look at a watch as a means to tell time. I don't care. I'll wear a Mickey Mouse watch to a board meeting. If fuck anybody says.
Bro,
right?
yo, Justin, you said something important, man. You said the money situation. Right now, you don't know, man. When you have money and you lose it, you respect the money. I respect money so much more. I know you have a bike. I have a bike too. I got a Harley. But
all right, cool, man.
Yeah, look, I ain't crazy, but what I'm saying is I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I had an incident where I almost drowned years ago. I respect the water. So what I'm saying is, in order to have something, an abundance mindset, you have to respect yourself. You got to respect money. You got to know how money works. You got to respect the shit that you want to deal with. And with shit that we talking about, the ratchet shit, the shit that people want to pay for, is going to only give you that satisfaction in that moment. It's not going to give you an opportunity to respect it and keep it and nurture it, like relationships. People don't respect time. People don't have any integrity. People don't know what's valuable. Today, we live in a society where shit that's corny is funny and the shit that's funny is not real. The truth is false. It's all backwards. So at the end of the day, you guys can't discern this by just listening to us. You have to put this shit in action to see what's true and what isn't and what works for you.
Right.
Let me get some of these comments. Let me get some of these comments real quick. Unique says they never teach this knowledge in schools. They don't.
Facts.
Raymond says barbershop just clown around, not these type of comments. And that's what I'm saying, bro. That like most cats, they like barbershop talks that don't mean shit, but but make them feel good. That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. Create your own barbershop.
Yep.
Get your people together and create a small mastermind to meet once a month. That's your barbershop.
Facts.
Stop relying on others'
barbershop. Says this is a different channel. I'm going to be an active subscriber for a long time because you feel positive energy, and I make a suggestion to you, Rick Tech, not just about me, but period. So you're on this stream and you like this stream. I get it, but this is your first time catching this live. I challenge you, bro. I got a book coming out next Friday. 6 books. It's gonna come out. Yeah. And if y'all don't know, the Keys to Future Self, that shit came out yesterday, audiobook. So for you cats who don't want to read, well, guess what? I got the audiobook for you.
Let's go. No excuses. Your excuses are your own.
Got that for you. But I challenge you, Rick. I challenge you. I challenge you to go listen to, go to my content, go to my playlist, pick any video. All these videos are good but different. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is the vibe today. Another day we might have some broads on here talking nasty. So don't just watch this video and be like, I like this, and then wait to see what I got tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, go spam old shit. Like it didn't get good today. It's good. You can just click anywhere. Look, if you can click on, if you can watch 10 of my podcasts and you don't like 9 of them, I'll send you a free book. Because I know what's important. And shout out to Thor. I don't know if you left. My man gonna hit you up, bro. I want to hear.
Yeah. I've got it written down. I'm gonna hit up Red Pill Thor.
So we're gonna have an OG session in a minute.
Let's go.
Super cool, bro. And he got a wife, and they smash chicks together. So that's what kind of cat that is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. I was just in a room about that on Clubhouse, and they're talking about like swinging couples, open relationships, and it gets a bad rap. People, they all cuckold, like, oh man, you like bring in a third person and all that shit. Like, you have no idea how like deep and rich sexuality can get, right? It's I feel like that the understanding of like relationships is so fucking surface. And when you're with the right kind of person, it's like there was women in this group who they had like a solid one man, like this was like her main dude, right? And they brought in, he would go out, bring in another woman, and then it would be like presenting a gift to her. I mean, like they would chill, and it would be like, what do you think? What do you think of this gift? You want to bring her in the fold for a night or not? And it's like that's real cool. You know what I'm saying? Like there was one where Brady, the same thing, but brought in another guy, and the husband would be like, "Do I vibe with this guy?" Right? Why does that have to be looked down on? Oh, I got all insecure about that shit, right? It's like if there's a solid understanding there, and they fucking know themselves, and they have really good communication about what that relationship is, and that this is just a guest coming in to play for an evening, and it's all good vibes. You know, like there's so much flexibility that people can have in relationships. It's crazy. And you're like, oh, it's got to be one way and all this shit. It's like, man, like open up your mind, dude.
You said something very important, and Afi touched on this, and we touch on this periodically in regards to the manosphere. If your tribe, your clients, you don't feel that way, why would you care? A lot of times people get bad reps for deciding to go MGTOW. They're deciding to be a PUA. I don't really give a shit. Justin said something very important. If your mind, there is an understanding of yourself, your partner, and the arrangement. You understand what's coming for you. You understand the consequences too, because nothing is perfect. It shouldn't be looked down on because I understand what I'm doing. I said this last week. Afi can do shit that's not. He'll have women on his stream, and he'll get flack for that because he's supposed to be a red pill in the box type of content creator. I may do some shit that goes against manosphere rules, and that could be construed as looking down on. But again, if I have a mindset, I can do it because I know I can do it. Justin can do shit that he knows he can do. Afi does shit he knows. So again, pay attention. The people that you are listening to, are they encouraging you to think for yourself or think like them? That's your answer. And if you start to see between the lines, you'll realize who has your best interests at heart and who doesn't.
Right. I tell my clients, because I take my I guess my teaching and healing method that I use with my program actually comes from Buddhism. And Buddhism doesn't want more parishioners, right? They want to heal you and set you free. Say, go now, go away, right? They don't want more followers. And it's the same way that's how I treat my practice, is that when someone comes to me for help, I don't want to see them again. I don't want repeat customers because that means I've not done my job well. Right.
Brothers, I got to get ready to work. So say our last words. Hey, let's do a part 2 because I got a lot of gas left and I ain't finished talking, but I got to go do my job and shit.
Absolutely, me too. Yeah, definitely. Whenever you say, Afi, you ready?
All right. I see my man Jonathan. He says, Afi, your presentation on the webinars tonight, bro. Jonathan, I'm about to light some fucking fire tonight, bro.
Let's go.
Be gold status. Jonathan, you heard it first. You go tell the boys. Tell the boys, get their asses ready for tonight, Jonathan.
Get the marshmallows and the graham crackers.
I'm cutting a promo because this webinar I'm doing that y'all not gonna see because it's private. Jonathan, I'm about to drop some goat shit tonight, bro.
Ghost game.
I promise you, bro. I'm gonna light this fucking shit up tonight.
Let's go.
I'm gonna go 3 hours. I'm gonna go 3 hours. No gas. I ain't gonna take no breaks. Jonathan, watch tonight. Watch fucking tonight, bro.
Justin, can you let everybody know before the clock runs out where they can find you, bro, and Instagram, etc., please?
Yeah, absolutely. My stuff is on Instagram at Coach Justin _, and I've got the podcast on Apple and Spotify, and that's just the same name for the Forge Project.
Okay,
great. If anybody has any questions, they can reach out. Any kind of problem, or you just want to say hi, just drop me a DM.
Great. Hey, real quick, shout out for the super chat. Recent divorce. I got a split custody and recent a 6-figure dude who hasn't dated in 9 online. We gotta talk about it. Hey, D-Train, it's a super.
Leslie, you can just get in touch with me, man.
That party, bro, because I gotta go. I appreciate you, D-Train, for the generous $50.
Salute, my G.
Took it for everybody, but the thing is, guess what? Y'all, some of you guys is here every day. I don't even know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
And he dropped 50. I ain't even know. So you get a wrench automatically because you dropped 50 on your first time. He making y'all veterans look bad.
Salute.
You dropped 50 piece on the first show, and y'all just sitting up there listening.
Afi, who's the gentleman in the comment just before this? It was Green, talking about the divorce and he didn't know what to do. Wesley, I think it was. Wesley, just find my Instagram and drop me a DM. We'll just
go,
have a quick.
go through the playback because one of the moderators did drop his link in the chat plenty of times. So I'll say
Yeah. So just like let's just get on a quick phone call and 20 minutes and we'll see what's going on with you.
All right,
Thank
man.
you, guys.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. Make sure you subscribe to Alpha Villains. Subscribe to my man Forge Project, Coach Justin, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. If you guys want a bonus show later on the super late night, you guys drop the comments at the bottom of it.
Oh, and I'm also on Clubhouse at the Forge Project.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
All
right, man. Thanks, guys. Yo, Justin, peace. Afi, you already know.
All right, fellas.
Later.
Well.
Peace, y'all. Make sure y'all drop a comment below. And D-Train Fitness, the webinar, you interested? DM me on Instagram at Dominance Mindset and Raw Game, and I'll give you some intel. I ain't got time to do it right now. So appreciate y'all. Follow me on Instagram. Peace. Get the books.